After this video posted, it is obvious that Offset and now Cardi B are officially back on the streets. So why would Offset cheat when he had a woman that gave him a $2 million gift for his 30th birthday?
Cardi B gives Offset 2 million reasons to smile for his 30th birthday. The I Like It rapper gifted her hubby this $2 million check. You heard me correct, $2 million.
And then after receiving the $2 million gift, he took $1 million of it and betted on the Super Bowl last year on the 49ers. Check it out.
Yes, sir. On the way to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? I put that $1 million up. This how we come. We finna win this money too. 49ers.
He's talking shit. Yeah. We still won yesterday. We finna come back and bet a whole nother
That saying that a fool and his money shall soon split is true, especially in this case because he lost the $1 million because the 49ers didn't win. Now listen, shortly thereafter, Offset's side chick, who was rumored to be pregnant by him, posted this video.
I might tell a joke, but I never tell a lie. One, I definitely said I was never pregnant by someone. Two, I never said I never fucked with him. I just said I wasn't pregnant because I wasn't. Three, I wasn't the first and I wasn't the last.
Now, after being cheated on and embarrassed damn near the whole time that they were married and filing for divorce 3 different times, Cardi B finally had enough and she posted this on her Instagram.
You don't move with integrity. You're not a street nigga. That's what you do. That's what you do. Oh, I'm gonna go for your ops. Good, boo-hoo, nigga. I don't give a fuck. You can fuck my ops. You fuck my friends, nigga. I don't give a shit. You're a lame to me, and you will never equate to me. And it's crazy that I even let you even play with me for such a long time.
We discussed that and why do men cheat tonight on Thursday Night Therapy. Let's talk about it. This is my father, Big Chuck. He taught me the pimp mentality from the crib, so I was never faithful in any relationship. Until one day, 6 years ago, I looked at all the broken hearts and pain that I caused and decided it was time to level up. So now I'm a happily married man who still doesn't stand for the trick mentality that is destroying our community.
I'm Champagne, a single woman on a journey to build a life rooted in self-love, balance, and authenticity. I'm exploring the ups and downs of personal growth, embracing independence, and creating space for joy, peace, and purpose. Whether you're on a similar path or just curious about the ride, this is your space to feel seen, inspired, and empowered.
I'm Dante. I'm the realest of the group. I'm once married and now divorced and dating as a single father. Here to bring a grounded perspective, pushing past all the fluff and getting to the heart of what really matters.
What's up?
Hey, welcome to Thursday Night Therapy. Things you talk to your therapist about. The show where we dive into the good, the bad, and the downright awkward conversations we all have or maybe should have in therapy. Tonight's topic, when years divide. Why do men cheat? But before we get into that, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that every time we go live, you know when we are up. And just a reminder, if you're tuning in, tonight's topic, why do men cheat? But first, let's talk about current events. Take it away, guys.
Oh, man. Like you've seen in the video, no matter how perfect Cardi B was, there's always going to be women that are much finer than she is. As you see, he was partying. And I mean, he was surrounded by fine women at the party. So it was, you know, and she gifted him with money. It seemed like they was in the perfect situation. You know, she gave her all for him. And the streets was still calling. He couldn't get enough of them streets, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think as he gets older, he'll probably look back when he, you know, once more and maybe think about it. But man, I mean, I just don't think he was ready to settle down, man. And there's nothing that she could have did to keep him from that gravitational pull from being out and partying with these strippers and kicking it like that. I think it was just too powerful for whatever she was going to do for him to go back. And And I think that's the reason why, he kept stepping out like that, because that's just who he is. He's a party guy. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing gonna stop him from it.
Man, ridiculous. Here we are once again. Offset cheating on Cardi, not with Cardi. Their drama playing out in front of the world for the world to see. It's ridiculous. We've watched this relationship from the start. We were there when, us I'm talking about the public, all of us. We were there when these folks got together. We were there when they had their first child, when they had their second. We were there. We were there for the first time that he got caught cheating out loud. We were there to see him beg and cry and plead to get back with Cardi, and we were there to see her take him back. We were there to see him cheat again. We were there to see him cheat again. And I mean, it literally is getting ridiculous. I, for one, am happy that Cardi B is taking the time out to separate herself from that young man, because he think she was playing. And I'm happy that she's finally taking the time out to show him that she wasn't playing, because it is getting out of hand. I mean, how many times you gonna cheat on me in public? This is just, keep it down, brother. Keep it down.
Not keep it down. You know what's wild is, like, when I listen to you modern males about what you want in a woman, right? She was it, right? She looked good for him. She wasn't using him for money. I might be, speaking out of turn, but it kind of seems like she made more than him, or, she made more than him, and he made
Oh,
more
yeah.
gold digger, right? Because men are very scared of gold diggers, right? Digging the gold. So she didn't do that. Yeah, the kids. She knew he cheated. She probably knew that he cheated before she got married, but she might also be like, she might be one of those individuals who feel that all men cheat, So it just depends which one you want to get with that you're accepted cheating from. So I think she already knew, and she accepted it. Like, she's a fine chick. She doesn't have to accept a dude cheat on her. That's what he just doesn't understand. And like, Offset is not no prize. Like, I don't see it. I know people might see it in me, and I get that. I respect that. But I don't see it for her to be going crazy over. Like, if it was Denzel, it's like, oh yeah, girl, I understand. You gotta keep taking him back. You ain't gonna get better than Denzel.
Oh my God.
But it's Offset.
He ugly, sis? We say he ugly, sis? What you saying?
I mean, he not fine enough for her to have to go through this.
I like the way
like how y'all say women aren't fine enough to do certain. He's not fine enough to act this way.
That real shit, though.
So I'm very glad that I really hope she continues to stand on business. I really hope she just separates herself, because it's like that friend who tells you everything about that significant other that they hate. And, you hate him. You're like, oh yeah, fuck him. We're going to stab him in his eye. But she's back with him. And it's like, oh, you got me all emotionally involved, and you back with him.
So Chuck, you the married man on the panel here.
Yes.
How do you feel? I mean, he's continued to cheat, but they're married. You feel like she should have left? You feel like she should have stayed and kind of worked through the sanctity of the vow, the marriage? Like, where do you sit on this?
Okay. Now, when you look at the whole of relationship and how you deal with and overcome difficulty, you have to go to the beginning and what type of person is she in her core values. And I'm just gonna play a little clip here, and then I'm gonna then we're gonna talk about this. This is Cardi B before the fame, okay? And this is gonna give you a little insight on why she could take this type of treatment. Okay, here we go.
I'm a hot girl, but I got a couple of crib niggas. That's a fact. You already know. A couple of crib niggas get a racket for your car. You know what I'm saying? I've been like, all right. You're taking it too far. You're taking it too far.
Okay. Now listen. Now that's wait a minute. That's Cardi B. She was already like a grown woman right there, right? So you see the type of dude she was hanging around. You know what I'm saying? So Offset was her type at her core. Them was the kind of guys that she was getting before she was famous. So she was still attracted to those type of guys. So that's why, Offset might have been like a come up to her. You know what I'm saying? Because she might not be used to dealing with guys that might be as attractive as he is. All right. Now, like, and listen, And even if you get rich or whatever, your taste is still going to be kind of like it was when you were younger. Like guys in the NBA still wanting to go to soul food restaurants, things like that. Now, listen, I did an interview on, remember Ted Williams, the guy with the golden voice that they found off the street? Okay,
Yep.
he had a radio show on WVKO, right? So I was doing my movie on there, and they invited me onto the movie. I mean, they invited me onto a show to talk about my movie. So when I get on there, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about him. You know, he's real charismatic. He got that voice and everything. In between the segments, this dude reaches into his bag and cracks open one of them things of ravioli and start eating it straight out the can. You know what I'm saying? Bro, that's what his taste is. That's what he's been eating for the last 30 years, bro. So that's what he likes. So
he didn't heat it up.
He didn't even heat it up. He cracked it open, ate straight out of there with a plastic fork, dog. And he just got some money. So that's just who he was. So Cardi B, you can dress her up, you can put all the makeup on her and all that, but once you strip all that down, she's back to who she is in her mind and in her heart. And as you see in the projects and all that hanging out, that's really who she is. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, money probably don't mean as much to her because, I mean, she gave somebody $2 million. And I mean, she don't really care about money like that for real. You know what I'm saying? She might have thought that he was going to be there for her and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, for her to take this type of treatment and to still keep coming back, this is where it starts when she was younger. So she's seen this type of thing. You know what I'm saying? She was a scandalous person herself. She thought she could save him off the street, just like men do when we try to save some of these hoes and turn them into housewives. She did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And remember, I tell y'all, relationships is all about timing. Like I said, I think Offset maybe in theory he was ready to be in a relationship, but in practice he was not. He never changed who he was. He still kept partying. You know what I'm saying? And she kept taking him back. And like I said, it starts from the beginning. She was not raised in a functional environment. So this type of thing, this is why she chose this type of guy and accepted this type of behavior, because you could see how she was, you know, as an adolescent and teenager and young adult.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's and we can apply that same theory on both sides. I mean, what you essentially said was that the money ain't gonna change who the person is at the core.
No, right.
Well, the same thing is true for Offset. If he was gonna be an ain't shit nigga without money, he gonna be an ain't shit nigga with money. You know what I mean? Like if he's has a bad moral compass, if you know he's a product of his environment, if he grew up with a father who was never faithful and he never intended to be that, or whatever the case, you know, like you said, the money don't change anything. And a lot of the times we who get money do think that we can outlive the environment or where we've come from without applying real work towards actually achieving a better lifestyle. So I see the money ain't gonna change the person, and I think that happens on both sides.
Yeah, and Chuck brought up a good point when he talked about, I was listening to this one guy, and he had told me that some guys' issue is that they've never practiced like sexual self-control, they've never practiced monogamy, or they didn't really see the need to. So you don't have the practice of that type of discipline. You know, that's with anything. Like if you are used to just eating junk food all the time, you're not going to just be able to start clean eating on a Friday. Like, oh man, I'm just going to eat, you know, salads and veggies and walnuts. You will die because you're not used to doing that. So I think also you jump into that, you get married and you think, oh yeah, I can be faithful. You know, today I feel real faithful today. Yeah, I can do this for a long time, you know? And
yeah,
it's not the case.
Well, a lot of us tell ourselves that once I get married, there's a lot of men I'm sure out there. Once I get married, I'll be faithful. To your point, and you're right. If you don't practice it leading up, then you're bound to fail going into, because you're still, you know, an infant in being able to even achieve that, being faithful.
Right. Absolutely. And the thing is too, and the biggest reason too is, like, I think people are delusional, and they start lying to themselves about things. You know, about the whole situation. They try to you know, rationalize it and things like that. And really, you know, at the end of, you know, the different stages of acceptance, you know what I'm saying? I mean, she might not have went through that. I'm gonna play just another video. This is her talking about the split up. Okay, hold on. Let me show this real quick, and then we talk.
You get drunk, you give them bitches 2,000, you was gonna them regardless. Them hoes gotta survive. These hoes is hungry out here. We in a recession, baby. Them hoes gotta get paid. Do that. I don't care. You already done it all. You done it all. You done it all. You done it all. Nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing surprises me. You done it all. So I don't care. I don't.
See, like I said, she cares, or she wouldn't have went on live and talked about it. But like I said, I mean, you know, it's like I said, I think that it's almost like a rites of passage. It seems like for me, from when I observe women, that they seem like it's a rites of passage for them to go through like the pain from a man and to, you know, come out of it stronger and being more independent and being able to deal with it and then becoming a man killer afterwards. You know what I'm saying? That's what I see a lot of times, because, you know, when people get hurt, you know, they automatically, it's self-preservation for you to automatically get tough and not accept anything into your heart. And guys and women do that. And I just think we do it, you know, in different ways.
Yeah, who wants to get hurt?
No, I mean, that's a really, really great point. I think that is unfortunately, that is the natural progression that we see this day and age, is sort of a rite of passage. Our young women go through some pretty awful and terrible relationships in their 20s. And to your point, Chuck, once they get out of that, they harden, become a little bit more independent, better at handling those things. But also, you know, because of that pain, you know, now they are what they say, hurt people hurt people. So now they are the abuser. Now they are the one that's doing the hurting. But you're right, it's a very ugly trend. But it is exactly what we see.
And there has to be a maturity also between them as well. Like I think men who are less mature are more likely to cheat. Right?
Oh, listen to you, girl. You're jumping into it already. Okay,
I'm just saying. I think that, and you know, and I see Cardi and I see Offset, and I see Offset is immature in that aspect. But Cardi B is also immature because she still and I get it, that's how she built her fan base and everything, but I feel like she's like 29, 30 or something like that. And she your mom, who got 3 kids, and you know, at some point, there's a button that kicks in your head that says, hey, everything ain't for everybody. Like she should just move in silent, you know, and I think that's a bit difficult for her to do because she hasn't matured yet. So I think there's a lot of immaturity going all around here.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. Okay, y'all. So okay, shout out to my boy Madison. He's saying what's good, Madison. I had him on the show on Tuesday, and
you a wild boy, Madison.
Definitely a wild boy, Madison. I saw some of that. What's happening?
Hey.
Thanks for tuning in, man. And for anybody else who's tuning in, I don't know if we actually took the time to say this, man. We appreciate y'all for watching. We appreciate y'all for joining live. Take a moment to like the video. Take a moment to subscribe to the page so that you know anytime that we drop a new video or we're going live or anything like that. Tonight's topic: why do men cheat? Listen, we over here rapping about Cardi B and Offset, and listen, I mean, when you think about it, Cardi B has all of the things that theoretically you think men would ask for. Again, with some variance depending on who you are. She has money. She's definitely not no gold digger. Nice looking girl, has a nice body, extremely faithful, loyal, caters to her man. I see her cooking. I see her with her children. Again, she does all of those things. Again, depending on who you are, theoretically, from what we see outside looking in, she's done nothing wrong. However, her man continuously is stepping out on her, stepping out on their relationship, and stepping out on their vows in their marriage. So why? Why? And I know a lot of my sisters, a lot of my women are probably tuning in because this is one of those alien questions, and we're going to dive into it tonight, y'all. Me and the Love Doctor are going to give y'all some information. Hopefully, it's a learning experience for all. Do not judge us for our past inequities. We done did some things, but that's why we can come to you and put you up on game today. But we're going to dive into it, guys. Why do men cheat?
Oh, that's why we can come. I love this.
All right. Let's go and set this off, y'all. Hey, listen, check this out. We might have to do a part 2 on this one, man, because there's so many different reasons why men cheat. And we're going to just go over as many of them as we can and try to get through it. But oh my God, like I said, I was an expert at doing this. I wasn't an expert at getting away with it, but I was an expert at doing it. Okay.
I'm going to sit here and take notes because I, unlike them, have not been cheating out here. So thank you.
All right. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay. There's many reasons why men cheat, and sometimes it's situational, and sometimes there's no logic to it at all, other than us being young or just being stupid and thinking that we can do what we want without consequence. Right now, for me, and one of the reasons why I cheated, and I want to give a disclaimer too. Women cheat too, just as
we ain't talking
much
about them. We ain't talking
That's
about
Yeah,
them.
we're going to talk. Stay focused.
All right, Robbie, I'm just saying. I just got to make that disclaimer. This is a human thing, but we're going to just talk about the men today. All right. All right. Now, for me, one of the reasons why I cheated, we have to go through. There's so many different reasons, but the first reason why I cheated is that it's safe to have other women, because if your woman is tripping, it's easy just to go, to the next woman without an emotional attachment and have sex with somebody else. Because really, if you really think about it, when it comes to guys and sex, we really don't have much of an emotional attachment to a woman that we're having sex with. That's what I try to tell a couple of the females that busted me. Listen, this is just like external masturbation. It don't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? I care about you. I'm coming home to you every day. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the reasons why I cheated, was because it really meant nothing to me. The girls that I had sex with, I'm for real. They could have easily been my hand, bro. It didn't mean anything to me. But it was just like, I was at the crib. Maybe my girl, she was tripping that night. She didn't want to give me none or whatever. But I had like 10 other ones that were willing to serve me at any time. But I didn't care though, because I didn't care about them, because she was the one that I was, taking care of and this and that. So that was one of the reasons why I cheated. It was because really the side chicks didn't mean anything to me. You know what I'm saying? I had no emotional attachments to them, and I just did it, thinking I was going to do it without consequence. But like I said before, that women, I mean, their ego works a little bit differently than men, because they have a lot of pride with it. And a lot of times if they find out that you're cheating, they can never come back from that, because they they just can't. As a woman, once they're done with you, they're done. But yeah, that's one of the reasons.
Like, isn't that the same for men? Once they identify you as cheating, they can't come back from it.
For the most part. But all right, let me take for me, because I had no emotional attachment to the female. Like, even in my ex. Well, I ain't even gonna say who it is, but I had somebody that I was cheating, so she cheated, right? So, I was like, you know what? I mean, it's all good. I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? I was doing my thing. We could still be cool, because her sex didn't really mean anything to me. She gave it away, and I didn't really care, because I wasn't with her because of the sex. So I could have stayed with her if she was cool, but she couldn't get over what I was doing. You see what I'm saying? So I wasn't pressed about it. You know what I'm saying? But she was more pressed than I was. You understand what I'm saying? Because like I told you, it's hard to compartmentalize when, like, you have a good girl, right, and a sexual object. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you're used to messing with these hoes out here that's trifling and you know what I'm saying, and you could just open up and you could just be all types of disrespectful when you're having sex with her, and then you having your woman that you put on a pedestal, the sexual relations is much different. You know what I'm saying? It was almost, when I was having sex with some of these women, it was almost like I was getting back at them for being hoes. You know what I'm saying? I was a savage. So that's why I say, it's when you translate from being out here with so many different women and you decide to get a good girl, it's a totally different thing. You know what I'm saying? It could be mundane. Like I said, like you said before, Champagne, earlier. Sometimes, I mean, you could be eating steaks and everything, but sometimes you want some White Castles late at night. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know when I said that. Was that in this show?
Yeah. Hey, you said earlier that guys, they wanted candy sometimes that wasn't healthy, going into healthy eating, right?
Yeah.
Remember, you said it's hard to go to healthy eating cold turkey. You still want some candy. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's the same thing with that. it's like you got a good girl, but then you see all this ratchetness over here that you used to, you know what I'm saying? It's a totally different relation. You feel me?
Yeah, man. Listen, man. Y'all heard in the intro, man. I'm the realest of the group. I'm gonna keep it G. We're gonna cut through the fluff and get to the heart of what really matters. Um, a lot of the times, people give reasons that they cheat because reasons are more acceptable to the masses. If I tell you there was a reason for it, it's a lot more understandable than, I don't know, shit. I just wanted to. So a lot of the time we're trained to give reasons like you're not there for me, or you don't give me enough sex, or you're not doing, or you're not doing. The reality of it is that it comes down to maturity. There's an immature man and there's a mature man. Unfortunately, that has nothing to do with age. It has to do with mentality. Some men go from immature to mature. Some men go from mature back to immature. Some men stay immature their entire lives. And the key is identifying who is actually a mature male. Mature males have a different mindset than an immature man. I'm going to walk you through this. For the immature man, the reason why an immature man cheats is this. Because there ain't no pussy like new pussy. And it's as simple as that. Sex. Sex drives everything for a young man. Typically, these are young men between the ages of 18 to 24. Sex drives everything. These are the ages where we'll drive 3 hours to go get some pussy. These are the ages where we'll go get head from a fat chick behind the building. We thirsty as freak when it comes to sex. And what happens is that there's no pussy like me. Y'all don't understand how good new pussy is. And when we're at that age and at that time, unfortunately, you're not presenting something that's better than new pussy. And that's just being direct at the moment. Keeping in mind, we're speaking of an immature mindset, an immature man. So you cooking and cleaning and providing a home, unfortunately, to an immature man, baby, but new pussy though? Have you had that?
Really whiskey.
Have you had that? So for the immature man, it's flat out that. And I'll tell you even, my story. Coming up, we all know that, I was married, I'm not divorced, but it's one of those things when I was young and I was dating, I never tried to be faithful. Simply got into a relationship with someone, and what would happen is that one of my old people would hit me up. And it would just be like, oh, okay. It would be offered. It would be around. I'd be out and about, and it would be presented to me. Here, do you want some pussy? Sure. Sure I do. So what happened when I was young was that I would get into a relationship and it was like, I wasn't trying to cheat, but I wasn't trying to be faithful either. And through that natural progression of not trying to be faithful, by default, you end up cheating. By default, I'm out and about and there are women who trying to get at me. By default, I get a phone call from somebody who I used to deal with who's offering for me to come over and wants to do some things, and I can. And as a young man, in that moment, that new pussy supersedes anything else that I got going on at home. And it's a very immature thought. And I will say that. But when you're an immature man, you do. Now, let's flip the coin on that.
Okay.
Mature man. Mature man operates under a different mindset. Here's the thing. To a mature man, pussy's still good. But now there are things that are better than new pussy. Owning your home, your business staying afloat, your children going to the correct schools, getting into the schools that you want to get into the education. Like all of a sudden, as a mature man, things begin to outrank new pussy. And once we get to that point where, again, sex is not that man's priority, then sex won't be the thing that drives that man this way and that way and this way and that way. And it really comes down to that. These young men's priority is sex. And when you meet a man whose priority is his business, you will see that exude in his actions. When you meet a man whose priority is his children, you will see that exude in his actions. But when a man's priority is sex and women, you will see that show itself through his actions.
Okay. I mean, I like what you're saying because I I feel like maturity has to be involved for you to turn away from something that you guys just seem so helpless by.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just seems so helpless. What I've had some guys tell me that all men cheat. Like, what do you guys say to that?
I'm glad. You
No.
know what? I'm glad you said that because that's where that saying comes from. Because with all guys, there's also that saying growth path. All immature men do. Most men probably at 18, 21, absolutely probably did. And that's when they say all men do. It's because all men did or have. I think that we're all capable of outgrowing that stage. But I absolutely think it's literally unfair to ask a young man who is between the ages of 16, 17, 18 to 24. It's unfair to ask him to be faithful to one woman because I can tell you now, having been those young men, that I don't think it's possible.
Mm. Okay, I gotta push back just a little bit on what Dante said. I mean, I think that maturity, of course, is a factor, but I think that the choices that we make and when we choose a mate, there's also like a lot of different factors. You know what I'm saying? Like I can say that like and there's so many reasons. Like I said, just to put a broad stroke on everything, we really can't do that because it's a lot of it's situational. Of course, there's a maturity and things like that. Um, like I said, sometimes like you could settle for someone that is really not the person that you really should have been with in the first place. Like somebody that's maybe not completely your type, and you settle for someone that they may not be as sexually attractive, that may not even be the intelligence and gives you the same vibe that somebody would have gave you. You know what I'm saying? That was more your type. You know, maybe on an intellectual level or a hustling level. So as you start to grow, you sometimes you grow apart, and if you're not on the same page, a lot of times, I mean, things can happen within the household. There's so many different dynamics that can happen that could cause you to not even be and not even look at your woman as a sexual object anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that that's all just straight maturity. I think that it's about the person that you pick, and how the situation is going and how you deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, as I got older, I seen what was more valuable to me. I wouldn't say I got more mature, but I just wanted more out of life. And I know a lot of guys who are young who are, I mean, they're immature, but they're loyal to their girl. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of, I got cousins and stuff like that. They just been with their girl, since high school. So yeah, it is possible, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's based on, of course, your makeup. And I think a lot of times it's who you choose sometimes. Because like I said, you could be in the crib and once you with somebody for a long time, you see the very crust of them. You know what I'm saying? They farting around you. There's different things that you see, like you seeing them without makeup, without the weave and all that stuff. And I'm telling you, sometimes it can evolve, like you said, into it's just a partnership and not really necessarily a sexual thing that you have between you two. You know what I'm saying? It could be you might relate on a different level, as far as building, like you said, and all that. But the sex sometimes might not be where it need to be anymore. The spark could go. And in some of these situations, things get elevated. You could be having a working relationship. I seen people when I was working at the post office, they was around their post office partner like more than their wife. And they eventually developed into a love thing at the job. You know what I'm saying? Because they spent more quality time with them, working the 10, 12-hour shifts at the post office more than they spent with their wife. They'd come on with their wife. They might chill for a little bit, go to sleep. And then, by the time it's time to go back to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many different variants on how somebody is achieving. You feel me? It's not just maturity. It's a lot more mitigating factors than just straight up maturity.
Yeah, but a lot of those mitigating factors, though, they're reasons to leave a person. Why you like, it's not the same no more. We don't have a connection. It's not this. It's not that. She don't do this to me no more. There are reasons to not like that person anymore. There are reasons to leave or to break up. But like you sticking your dick in another woman, what in that moment when that homegirl hits you up, like what makes you make that decision? It's not, oh well, shit, we not sexually whatever. That's a reason to leave. What's the reason that you actually are physically being intimate with someone else? What makes you make that choice?
Right. Like I said, man, listen, especially in long-term relationships, a lot of times, if you look at our grandparents and things like that, that people that were together like 30, 40 years that stayed together, they went through a lot of those type of things where they had separate whole families and stuff like that. Like, and they still stayed together, but on that sexual level, it wasn't there anymore. You know what I'm saying? And it's sometimes that's what you need. You know, and you crave that. Like I told you, I was talking to younger women and things like that because I had an older wife. I was not attracted to her sexually, and so I started dealing with young women because of the enthusiasm that they brought. They was excited about the things that I did, and like I said, I don't know if it was because maybe I made a wrong choice from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of settled, and I shouldn't have did that. But it was just like the sexual part was separate from how we ran the household and how we did bills and all that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's man, it's just it's so many different reasons, man. And once you get into a relationship, man, things could just go left, man. Just I'm telling you, man, if you ain't on the same page, it's over all these years. You got to really be tight with your person, man.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it all runs hand in hand. I think a mature person may handle those differences in a different way. They may separate or decide to break up or decide to move on versus cheating. I think cheating specifically is one of those things where you're weighing what you got at home, or if you get caught, or you versus what you got going on, and you make the decision to gamble, to step out. And again, school, it's a decision made. And you also, most young men are going to make it. But just for me, I think it does come down to there's always maturity involved. And I think we're agreeing on that. The maturity is involved. Obviously, there can be something going. We have people who have been together since high school. Y'all have been together 15 years. Y'all in your mid-30s. She fat as hell, bro. I know. Sometimes, you know what I mean? You got a man who like, baby, he done been to jail 3, 4, 5 times. He been cheating on you left and right. Like, I know why you finna cheat on him. You know what I mean? Like, I've been together 15 years and he done did all kind of shit. Like, you don't want to honor this, man. I get it. Like, so there's always in every situation, maybe some small variance on why a person might do it. I don't like when people take and attach what someone else isn't doing for them as a reason. So for example, for me as a man, if I go out here and I decide to step out and I step out and you get caught up, I get caught up with another chick, the last thing I'm gonna do is be like, well, you're never there. You don't go to sleep at the same time I do anymore. And like I miss that intimacy. I'll own up and man, I made a bad choice. It wasn't worth it in the end. I wasn't using my clear brain. I fucked up. Like the reason behind it isn't gonna be like, you didn't and it's your fault that I made the wrong choice. I don't like that behavior necessarily. So I do try to stay away from that as best I can.
Right.
Now I will point out to Chuck made a comment about how our grandparents and other people stayed together for so long. But I don't think it was necessarily that they were okay with cheating. I think it was more so, well, what else am I gonna do? Like,
damn.
You know, he pays
off. Yeah, of course they weren't okay with it.
You know, I can't do nothing. So it was more like women whole generations have been about just survival. Like, you know, in the earth, it's been survival of the fittest. So you gotta attach yourself to this dude because when it comes to physical strength, you know, the truth is we can't match it. We can't match
jobs
it.
and earnings back then, men you couldn't match how much a man can earn for the same job, especially back then.
Yeah, and you know, we could do the same job, do better work, pay less. So it was more like
same job.
You gotta stay with this dude because there's just that's why back then you could beat your wife. And then if you said something to the police would be like, well, you gotta learn to listen better. You know, it was just a whole different time. You know, back then it wasn't like women wanted to be there. I just want that to be clear. I agree. Who is it? Sky says she sees both of your points, right? Because I do think two things can be true. I'm not a man. I, cannot imagine what you guys go through. But one of the things she talks about is, you guys are both the same. You guys are saying the same thing, but there's similar variation. Because if you stay in a marriage and you're going to cheat on your person physically, I think the question to me is, and I don't know if this was answered, but to what Chuck was saying, why wouldn't you just leave? Like, if you feel like I'm not sexually attracted to this person, because when you are probably like 60 and less, sex is going to be kind of important to you. So if this person is not satisfying you sexually, why wouldn't you leave that relationship and just find you someone who can?
Well, let me answer that as best as I can. The main reason why you're not going to leave, because they, depending on how deep your relationship is, especially like, okay, let's say marriage. Marriage is an institution, right? It's more than just this boyfriend girlfriend, lip service thing. Once you start investing in your relationship and you guys are building together, then it's hard to just say, hey, I'm just gonna leave. It's a lot of different things that have to go on for you to leave that relationship. It's going to be a life changing move. Now, if you just like y'all just kicking it, y'all got y'all's own cribs and stuff like that, somebody cheat, it ain't gonna hurt you. But if you deep into it, then yeah, before you leave, I mean, you just know that it's going to be it's going to be painful, and it's going to be a life changing move. Now, remember, we're not in this society that we're in is not conducive for being faithful. Every time you turn your phone on, you seeing girls flexing their vaginas, flexing their butts. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere. The dress code is European. It's women half naked everywhere, and women are much more aggressive. They throwing themselves at you. So you got to be really strong and disciplined to resist all these things. When it's real easy to come by, sex is easy to come by now. Back in the day, you used to have a little bit of game to get some. Now it's like, what I'm saying, what's up, baby? What you doing tonight? And they coming back at you harder than you coming at them. So it's like you got to be a lot more disciplined now. You just got to have your mind completely right before you get into a committed relationship, because you're going to be tried. Like I told you, after I got married and I post things on Valentine's Day, people be in mind, oh my God, I seen you with your wife. I just wish that was me instead of her. Like,
Hey,
well, you know what I'm saying?
listen.
Like, you had your shot. You fucked up. Okay?
Hey, listen, man. Love Doctor brings up a really good point. Now, listen, we talked about men and why they cheat and all of that stuff. But ladies, women, now that we got you here, now that you're listening, I want to actually throw it on your plate for just a moment. Women have to take accountability, because men can't cheat. Men ain't cheating. Well, I was gonna say men ain't cheating with other men, but I mean it's 2025. The women that they cheating with, in all honesty, have to take accountability. I remember back in the day, we were growing up in the 90s, you used to have to lie and tell girls you ain't have a girlfriend to get their phone number or to get them to talk to you, whatever the case. These days, if you have a woman, women have no problem talking to you. In fact, some women are coming at you, throwing pussy at you just because of who your woman is.
Yes.
To see if they can get you up out your shit. And the thing is, this is a man. We are men. And the thing that's being offered to us is the very thing, women, that you know that we love more than anything. You know it. Y'all done live your whole lives side by side with us. You know what we love more than anything. More than money. Like, come on, y'all know it. And then somebody's offering it to us on a platter, putting it up. What you are presenting, what you are giving in life must be worth more than that in value. Unfortunately, men are logical thinkers. It really is a lot of the times a decision made in balance of, is it worth it or not? And a lot of the times when men get to that mature place and they share things with their woman, with their wife, they have a business that they share together and a home and all of these things are going right. Sometimes when they get to that point, it's not worth it. That girl that comes up, hey, can I? Oh, no. I'm trying to close this deal. It ain't worth it. She's gonna fuck my shit up. There does become a switch when you do get to that point where, like, be presenting something that's worth more than new pussy.
Right. And I had I'm just give you another thing. Like I said, I might have said it before, but there was a woman that I knew, when I did computer repair in Columbus, and she had a healthcare agency, and I was fixing her stuff or whatever, and I went to school with her, and she was married, right? So when we finish doing the transaction, I don't never do no flirting before the transaction's over until I get my money. All right. But after the transaction was over, she started flirting with me, and she wanted to go out and whatnot. And I'm like, well, damn, you married and stuff, whatever. She's no, this is just be a business. So okay, anyway, so we go out, we talk, and she's like, she was like, Chuck, I would, I really, I got bad intentions for you, but but since you ain't with a, if you're not in, since you're not in a relationship, what I'm saying, I know I'm married, but if you start dating somebody, then I'll be mad. I'm like, what you mean? Like, you married? What are you talking about? But but if I was already married, then she would still mess with me. But since I'm not, and I can find something else, then she didn't want to mess with me. But I'm like,
They get mad for real, bro. Chicks with
that's
girlfriends
what I'm
get
saying.
mad.
So
They
like,
get
I mean,
mad for
what
real
are
when
you
you talk to
talking about?
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you serious? Like, I mean, what I'm saying? I mean, it's just like, bro, it's just crazy out here, man. And like I said, if you ain't on this, if y'all ain't on the same page, man, and with your partner, things change, man. And you just got to make sure that you got somebody that that you can be in it, for the long haul. Because
yeah. I mean, and
go
yeah,
ahead.
to Bruh's point, I mean, I had a situation with a married woman, who was dealing with me when I was younger. And she was a black girl, who was married to a white man. And the reality was that white man was able to provide everything that that young lady wanted and needed, except for a black man in the bedroom. And that's basically what she used me for. She would tell them she was going out to the club. She would come over to my house, be over there 3, 4 hours. She came over with a club dress on, everything. And just it was one of them things where she wasn't leaving because she was getting everything else that she needed, except for that. So she found a way to compensate, and it just obviously it can get messy if she were to get caught up or whatever the case. But some people don't see dissatisfaction of sex alone as enough of a reason to leave everything else.
Right, that's true.
That would make sense. When you look at people who are millionaires and billionaires, and they have, they've been cheating. There's some cheating along the way. They might even go to swinger clubs together. They might even have a boyfriend and a girlfriend. And these are real people, like real people I've met where they have buku money. But it's like, hey, I'm going to step out. She's going to step out. That's just how we're going to do this thing. Cheating is not the biggest deal for us, because for us to divide all of our assets, it's going to be crazy.
Right. And then what you got to understand too, ladies. Okay. Now, when you're looking at a married man, right? You're going to, especially if he's in a successful marriage, right? A lot of married men we're built up, right? We are now the man that has completed to be the best man that he can be. And a lot of these women see that and see a successful man in front of them, the type of man that they wish that they could have and the type of relationship that they wish they could have. So they're automatically going to be envious of that and want that. So they're going to test you. A lot of times, guys might start off, a woman might see his potential in him, help him get to the level that he wants to get to, and he achieves that. And then now all these women are throwing themselves at him. And then now he don't know how to handle it because there's so many different females coming at him now, because he's the man that he's completed his potential. So
Yeah.
you gotta beware too. Once you become successful in a relationship and people see how you living and what type of man that they could have had, they're gonna try to destroy that in some type of way and put some salt in the game. So you got to be careful with that too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point because when I was referring to the ladies or talking to the ladies, again, another really good point is that oftentimes women will see a ready-made man, a finished made product, but he's already married or has a girlfriend. And what happens in those situations is a lot of the times those ladies try to take that man.
Yeah.
When I was married, people tried to take me because of what they saw I was providing to my wife.
Right.
Oh, she ain't working at all. When there's something I was providing to my wife, they wanted like, oh, well, that means that this man will do these things for me, and this is where I want to get you on the right path, ladies. Just because a man is treating one woman a particular way does not mean that he is going to treat you that same way. In fact, if you approach that man while he's in a relationship and try to take him, he is not going to perceive you through the same lens that he perceives that wife that he chased and got. He's gonna perceive you through a lens of like, oh shit, she wrote the kid, and they're like, and you're gonna get treated as such. So it's going to be different. So don't see that man like, oh, he a good husband, and decide I'm gonna take him, because you inserting yourself into being willing to insert yourself in the middle of their relationship automatically is gonna paint the picture from his eye to yours that you're not really like, you're not on that same level as wife be. You're not the angelic type, the type to be chased, the type to be sought after. You're not a prize.
Right.
Did I say that? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, okay.
There's a on Facebook, I saw a lady and she put up her husband and she, giving him praise. My honey is great, amazing, yada, yada, yada. And, she's backing him off on social media. And she later came back and put a post up like, damn, quit inboxing my husband. Y'all want my house too?
Yes.
I was the audacity, because when I saw it, it was just like, oh, that's so nice. Like, but I'm not a hater. And I feel like if you're a hater, what Kanye West says, hater niggas marry hater bitches, have hater kids. Like, if you a hater, it's in you. So when you see that, you don't have enough faith in yourself to believe that is going to come to you. So now you're unboxing a married, it's one thing, not saying it's right, but if a married man comes after you and he's actively pursuing you, like, okay, but for you to go that extra step and actively try to pursue a married man who's not checking for you, you're not going to get anything good. And I feel like you don't reap anything well from that.
No, you're part of what's wrong with the game. I got to be honest with you. Obviously, men have a really big part that we play in this. It's our decision. Our maturity levels play a role. We have to make the decisions. But truthfully, if the women stopped knowingly participating in cheating, there would be like a ton less cheating going on. There was a time back in the day where women had each other's back. There was a time back in the day where when a man got caught cheating, the women got on the phone together and became friends. Y'all remember that back in the 90s?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my dad had those. Trust me. Yes.
And the girls get to talking, girl Tyrone, me too. They end up becoming friends, don't they? Like almost friends for life sometimes, bro. Like they would become friends. They would group up. They would set Tyrone up. They would, okay, girl, tell him you're going to meet him here and then I'm going to pull up over here. That don't happen today. What happens when a woman call you and say, I mess with Tyrone too today? They fighting like men in the street. And then they both going to try to fuck Tyrone. And Tyrone don't have to do shit to get no pussy. He don't got to be a good man. He don't got to take nobody to dinner. He don't got to take care of them kids no more. The only thing Tyrone got to do is, oh shit, I don't know. She said your pussy weak. And it's like, this shit sad, bro. Shit sad.
Right. Hey, that happened to me. I was talking to this female and I actually, during my first marriage, she had gotten pregnant, right? So she had an abortion or whatever. So she felt that it was her duty, that my wife had to know about it. So she went up to my wife's dance class, right? And she sat up there and talked to her in front of the whole dance studio.
You might well kept the baby.
Bro, hey, I didn't tell her to do that.
She might well kept the baby. She was going to do all that.
So listen, unbeknownst to me, my wife invited me to the dance recital. So when they was like, when the whole dance, she was crying in front of the whole dance team, right? So when they had the recital, when they was doing the stomps, they was like stomping towards and looking at me like, doom, doom. What is this, man? You know what I'm saying?
Bust out of the whole movement.
And listen, my wife flipped her and had her record me, and she was going to try to have her take me to a hotel and all that, so she could just make a stronger thing for the divorce or whatever. But yeah, so that did happen with me. You know what I'm saying? And that motherfucker that did that, you ain't shit. But listen, listen to me.
There's accountability.
Remember, I want to just piggyback also with what you were saying earlier. Remember, if people might try to steal you, but listen, if you could steal a man, this is for men and women. If they can be stolen by you, then they can also be taken. You know, the same way you get them is how you lose them. So if they ain't strong in their relationship, what makes you think they're going to do better with you? So you got to watch that. People that's easily taken can be taken as well. So, you know, that's why I say, you know, just if somebody, you know, like I said, there was always people that, you know, was coming at me and still do whatever. And hey, look, you know, I'm flattered and this and that, but you know what I'm saying? No, that's not happening. You know what I'm saying? Because I already know what the consequences. Oh, let's get to one of these comments. We got Carlos that says men cheat because they wasn't sure what they wanted at first and blamed the woman that basically forced that by saying you don't love if you don't marry. That leaves him want to stay in a relationship, but don't really want it. So win or lose, that's what make them cheat on women is the blame. And if that's what it takes, it's over before it really began. That's true. Like I said, sometimes men get pressured into getting married or taking it further. And you know, and they're really not ready for it.
Well,
so you know, so I agree with that. That's a good statement.
Well, yeah, a lot of men end up further in relationship chasing sex. You end up with a girlfriend just because you want to. You end up with a wife because you enjoy the sex. A lot of men are marrying women for sex. Again, immature men who have priorities set at a certain place, they end up marrying and choosing partners based on sex, and then there's nothing else there. But you're right. You end up in a situation with a girl. She's like, well, you need to be my boyfriend or we ain't going to deal with each other no more. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you need to marry me or we ain't going to. Okay. Now you're married. I ain't never really wanted to marry you.
You should have been honest.
I get what Bruh's saying. Yeah.
But she's not asking you to marry her if she don't love you. So it sounds like she loves you. So it's not like a situation where she don't like you and she asks you to marry her or tell you to marry her. And it's like, ha, I tricked you because I don't even like your ass. Like she wants you to marry her because she's tired of you fucking her for free. Mm-hmm. So to blame the woman, whose fault is that? That's both y'all's fault. Especially if you don't say nothing. Okay. If you don't tell her, hey, I'm not into you like this. This is just
we say that. Trust, we say that plenty.
you a leader, ain't you? Y'all leaders, right? You can't be letting
if y'all let us be leaders, we are. You got to let us though.
That's the first step. That's the first step. You the dudes who will have a tribe and will sacrifice the whole entire tribe for some pussy and be like, it was their fault. Like you gotta have that self-control. You gotta have that self-control. That's what it comes down to. You can't blame a woman.
But you still listen. If you gotta convince a man to marry you, then he's not ready anyway. A guy that's ready to be married is going to show you that he's ready. So you know, don't try to pressure a man to be something that he's not ready for, because he'll regret it and he'll be unhappy. And it's like I said, it's not going to work. It's already failed from the beginning. So you got to watch that, man. Don't try to pressure anybody to do anything. You know what I'm saying? You can always express what you want, but if he's not willing to give it, then then shit, he might not be the man for you. Don't pressure him, because that you already setting yourself up for failure.
You got to stand on business. I get what you're saying, but you got to stand on business. Like unless she got a gun to your head and your nuts, you got to stand on business.
Oh wow,
yeah, that's damn near shit. Damn near.
Yes, because you're not being forced to do anything. You just don't want to deal with her emotions. That's why you go through with it. You just want to continue the access to the vagina. That's why you go through with it. That's why Offset probably married Cardi B. He don't want to get cut off to the access of the vagina. He doesn't want to get cut off from that woman. He likes what she provides him, even though he can't provide her what she wants. But I think that he married her. It was the best that he could get. And he don't know if he can do any better. He gonna play hopscotch for a little.
Okay, yeah. Hey, look, I told y'all. Look, we need to do a part 2 because I knew we weren't gonna be able to get everything in. I knew it. I told you, and we ain't even covered half of the reasons why men cheat. Anyway, final thoughts though on why men cheat, Dante.
Hey, listen, man. Ain't no pussy like new pussy, baby. Remember that. You got a good pussy, that means she got a good pussy, that means she got a good pussy too. And the women out here offering your man good pussy, baby, Make sure what you offer, what you provide, is worth more than new pussy.
Okay. What about you, Champagne? Why do you think being cheap? Final thoughts.
Yeah, because y'all just selfish is what it really comes down to. Y'all selfish. But that's a conversation for another day.
All right, y'all. Hey, that's our time. And listen, my final thought is, listen, men cheat for so many different reasons. Like I said, if he ain't happy, if he don't have the loyalty or the discipline, then 9 times out of 10 he gonna cheat. But listen, join us and please don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here, because we come here every Thursday. We try to give y'all different topics. And if you got any questions or anything that you want us to answer, please submit that so we can talk about it. We need your input. So please do that. But listen, until next week, same place, same time. We'll see y'all then. Peace.
Peace.